Brandon Hamer with this week's Bushel Up, coming to you from our Aurora field. We're a couple days late this week. I was in Des Moines at Tech Hub Live, kind of a precision ag technology conference, and just catching up with some of my colleagues, kind of talking, hearing from some speakers, kind of designing what's new and on the horizon. So we're looking forward to this fall, winter, when we can introduce you to some new things that we've got planned here at Aurora Co-op. But right now I want to focus on what we're dealing with, and that's hot, and more hot, right? I know you're irrigating as hard as you can. We need to keep on that, especially as we look at our corn here at Central City. Kind of our first planted trial work. We're already into that milk stage, putting some milk in. So, you know, the big concern at this time is if we stress for moisture. I have seen where even though we milk up and fill out these kernels, right now it looks like I don't have tip back, but if I can't keep the nutrients, the water to it, I run that risk of tipping back. When you look at my Aurora field, we're still actively pollinating out here. We're just kind of wrapping up pollination here. So we got that gamut of you know, going into late R2, you know, to still finishing up R1, and we just got to be mindful of what's going on. The planes are still flying heavy here. You know, insect pressure, nothing super out of ordinary. Just our typical western bean run. Obviously some rootworm beetles, especially in corn fields. And we look at, you know, pretty soon we'll see some corn earworms show up, I would expect. There's been a few moths out and about. Really want to remind you of one thing, whether it's stress from water, whether we let insects come in, you know, we start losing 2-3 kernels off the tip. You look at 2 kernels times 18 rows around times 32,000 plants, that comes out to 14 bushel per acre. And you look at today's prices, that's $80 of revenue potentially that we're fighting for. So I know, you know, sometimes you need a little encouragement to maybe spray or keep those pivots going, keep watering. That's kind of what's at stake if we have an insect problem or we stress this crop. So make sure you keep after it. Obviously we want everybody to stay safe, drink plenty of water, take your breaks. You know, when we look at this corn that's still just pollinating here, you know, my biggest concern is, you know, can we still infect plant health, help respiration? So, you know, if you haven't got a fungicide on and you're just going into that stage, I highly recommend it for the plant health aspect with the heat we see in the next 7-10 days. Switching to soybeans, kind of the same story there. I was out in my soybean field. I've been in a couple untreated fields here last week. You know, and there's just a lot of low pressure insect, some bean leaf beetle, late Japanese beetle. Again, I remind you that if we stress for water, we abort a couple pods. 2 pods on soybeans, 125,000 plants per acre. If you figure 3,000 seeds per pound, you're coming out to a 4 bushel yield loss on soybeans. So it's worth fighting for. It's worth trying to keep those pivots going, keep that gravity irrigation going. Obviously, high concern for our dryland acres. They definitely look better with the rain. We throw a couple days of heat on and it looks pretty tough now. So, you know, we'll pray for rain, hope we can get some reprieve, but right now we're just focused on making sure we keep this crop going. Finally, look forward to our plot tours coming up. We're going to get those dates out to you. Be hitting those out on social media and talking about those in the upcoming weeks. But again, stay safe, stay cool, make sure you take those breaks. We don't want anybody getting succumbed to heat here. So see you next week.